This buyer got into a $318,000 home with just $26,000 out of pocket and walked in with equity on day one. Let me show you exactly how this deal was structured because most people don't even realize that this is possible. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another deal of the week. If you're new here, my name is Ricardo Carrillo. I run RC Lending Advisors. We are a nationwide mortgage lending company specializing in helping real estate investors scale their real estate portfolios for both residential and commercial real estate. Whether you're buying your first property or scaling your real estate portfolio, my team and I will walk you through the entire process from A to Z. The whole point of these videos is for me to walk you through real deals with real numbers about real clients and how they're actually structured so that you can understand what's possible when you do this the right way. This deal was a purchase that we did for our client out of Decatur, Georgia. And there's a couple of things in here that buyers completely miss. So let's break it down. This is a single family home that sits on just over 2,000 square feet, sitting on just under an acre, 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, solid house, good lot. But honestly, the house isn't even the interesting part here. It was actually how we structured this deal. The buyer purchased this to house hack as a primary residence. Essentially, he wanted to live in one room and rent out the other bedrooms on Airbnb, allowing him to generate more money and cover the mortgage payment. That's actually what allowed for us to use an FHA style loan on this deal. The purchase price was $318,000 and it appraised for $323,000, getting the buyer instant $5,000 in equity before he even had his first mortgage payment. That doesn't happen on every deal, but it's honestly a good sign that shows you that you're buying the property in a right market at the right time. Now let's get into the numbers. I'll keep it completely simple for you guys. FHA loans require a minimum of a 3.5% down payment. So on this purchase, that was $11,630 for the down payment. The loan amount comes out to $306,000, and we were able to lock in a 6.5% interest rate over a 30-year fixed term for our client. Principal and interest is right around $1,973 a month. Then you add in insurance and PMI and taxes. Insurance was at $210, taxes was at $376, and PMI came in around $140. So that actually put our total monthly payment right around $2,700. Now, I want to make a quick note. I want to do a quick pause for you on PMI because that's typically where people start to overthink. On this deal, it was $140 and $140 a month. And to completely avoid that, the buyer would have had to come in with almost an extra $60,000 for the down payment, which would have put us at over decades just to be able to bring that money back. It really doesn't make sense if you're trying to keep capital in your pocket, or if you're trying to do renovations on the property, or you want to use that to go fund future deals. Why bring in an extra $60,000 when we could just be paying that $140 a month? I always like to see PMI as kind of like the cost of doing business, which is the way that we were looking at it in this situation. And so we kind of leaned into it, really just to keep the cash available, keep the minimum down payment, and pay that $140 a month. Now, here was where the deal actually got interesting and where most buyers actually get this wrong. Total closing costs came in at about $25,000, but we negotiated $10,540 in seller credits plus a few small adjustments on top of that, which actually brought our total cash to close. Which instead of bringing in over $36,000 to close, they actually only ended up coming in with $25,600 to close on this deal. And that was the down payment plus closing costs combined on a $318,000 property, which was significantly less money than what most people are used to spending. Every lender is still going to tell you you have to put larger down payments when you're trying to purchase a property, or people are just used to thinking you still have to put 20% down on a deal when you don't. And that's the part that most people don't understand. Seller credits are real. They're still negotiable. They're still happening in a lot of different markets. And if you know how to structure it properly, you can dramatically reduce how much you actually need to bring to closing, just like this. And to top it off, we actually closed this deal in just under 23 days. Speed is super important, especially in cities like this, where there's a lot of buyers and there's a lot of demand for people wanting to get into these deals, because what ends up happening is that sellers want certainty and they don't want deals dragging and falling apart in the middle of escrow for no reason or due to financing. That's actually also why FHA loans have a tendency to get a bad reputation sometimes, because sellers have honestly just been led to believe that FHA loans are for poor borrowers or people who can't qualify or people who have bad financials, when that's simply just outright wrong. FHA loans work as long as you haven't had an FHA loan in your portfolio. So for me, for example, I'm actually actively going through this process right now. I'm trying to purchase a property with an FHA loan for myself because I haven't used an FHA loan and I want to get one done prior to getting engaged. So then what happens is you can have two different FHA loans. You don't have to worry about it. You and your spouse can have an FHA loan. Once you're already married, you can only have one property under FHA essentially per spouse. So kind of interesting strategy. People like to use that in order to continue to scale their real estate portfolios, and it lets you buy more properties with really minimum down payments. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not the loan that's the problem. It's actually how it's structured and how it's presented. And in the right situation, FHA loans are one of the most effective ways to get into a property. It's actually one of my favorite ways to get into a property. There's even FHA loan programs that let you get money tied in for renovations so that you can tie that into the loan and still be putting only 3.5% down. The reality is that most buyers don't lose deals because they don't qualify. They lose deals because of how it's structured at the beginning, or they just don't even have the people that are in their corner to help them guide them through this process, explaining how to negotiate this upfront, having the good real estate team, having the good lender team to make it so that you can come in with the lowest amount of money out of pocket while still saving the most amount of money every single month. So if you're thinking about getting into real estate investing, or you're wondering what this might look like for you specifically, wherever you might be located, you can go to rclending.co, fill out the link, schedule a call with my team and I. We would be more than happy to walk you through the entire process. From A to Z, we have all of the resources that you need in order to make this a reality. I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you haven't seen my other deal of the week videos, you can check those out either here or here. But I will see you guys in the next deal of the week.